Hey there guys, this is Slamzeron, aka YouTube's Tasuke. I've been sitting on this for a while. This anime is a little older, especially if you watched it on Funimation's YouTube channel, which is what I did, but I actually watched a little show called Shimoneta, A Boring World where the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist. and I thought I'd give a little review on it. Like I said, I watched it on Funimation's YouTube channel where it's censored and it's lower quality, and they also post it a week late, which honestly I don't care. Like as long as I get to watch it, I'm not really particular. Heck, I've been watching Dragon Ball Super, and the subgroup I've been following has been late for like the past several episodes. So basically, this anime is about a fictional version of modern Japan where lewdness and porn and all that's been outlawed, and now everyone wears like bracelets and chokers to keep their lewdness in check, and they'll get like caught, like they'll get like arrested if they get caught looking at porn or doing lewd things. As you see there with the girl in like the right with like the pencil in her mouth, she starts drawing like doujin hentai and whatnot with her mouth. Like she draws with her mouth because she can't use her hands to draw. But it's actually was a kind of an interesting show, and me being as perverted and dirty as I am, I definitely appreciated the kind of humor. I will say, it did seem the subtitles seemed more dub oriented. Then I'm not saying that like that's a bad thing, because as a writer I generally prefer things to be written well, and the show was definitely written well. There wasn't really any spice. Like I not probably in the dirty jokes category, because the stuff slang probably doesn't translate as well, so they probably had to, but it did read a little bit more like a dub, and I speculate that part of the reason why they might have done that is to this show may not necessarily get a dub. They might have been trying to say that this show indirectly say that this show isn't going to get a dub. You can watch it all on the Funimation website. But and basically the protagonist is like the son of like this big porn lord, basically. And so he's kind of expected by those who know him to be really lewd. But, typical thing, like, you're not, like, kids are not always like their parents. He actually is not really, he doesn't really like lewd jokes and porn jokes and dirty jokes and whatnot. He secretly does, or he kind of likes it, but he doesn't. He tries to be classy, quote unquote. And the main chick, I think her name is Ayane. I believe the guy's name was Tanuchiki, I believe his name is. Since I watched it sub, names kind of escape me a little bit. I know he called her Kajo a lot, Kajo senpai. And she said Tanikchi or something. Tanikchi. Like, how the Japanese people, they'll like make the U's and the I's silent sometimes. I think that's just an accent thing, though, personally. But Kajo, we'll just call her that for the time being. She's like super lewd. She's part of like this lewd group. I forget what they're called. She's called it's not White Rose, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think she's White Rose. No, I think she is White Rose. I think I don't remember her fucking name. But she like as you see like how she's dressed right now, she wore like underwear over her face as like a mask, and wore like this long like white coat thing. And she was pretty funny. She was basically like the prime example of like someone who just liked dirty jokes but didn't actually like the actual real substance, because like anytime she would see an actual penis, she'd be like, ew. And like even in the opening, like Tanuchiki would would like it would the intro would like show him like and he has to rush out of school and like he's wearing his uniform really like kind of rushed on, like shirt open and like tie really loose and his pants are hanging low, and they zoom down on his underwear and they show like the sense thing like the idea that he's got morning wood basically, and she slaps him in the face. It's like she's all like ew, but then like the next scene she's like comparing her penis or his penis to like different things like a carrot and stuff. And she's constantly in the intro. She's also seen like doing the thing with the pen, like taking the pen and the pen cap and like thrusting it back and forth, taking a white napkin and like jerking off a fucking fence rail thing. Another one where she like is like thrusting into a desk, and she does that a couple of times. And they do this thing with their fist where like they make a fist, but it's censored. And I the main reason why I say it like that is because I don't exactly know what they're doing. I think what they're doing is putting their thumb in between their index finger and their middle finger, I think. I don't know. It's obviously censored because it's offensive in Japan, or maybe, I mean, she's not flicking them off with her middle finger, and I don't know. Someone who either watched the show uncensored, though I imagine that was one thing they did censor, or someone who's just more knowledgeable about Japanese culture and slang and whatnot, can probably figure it out. But that's just my theory. Some of the other characters include the doctor chick with the dark eyes. She's wears the lab coat, like an oversized lab coat, and she's always seen studying like bugs having sex, and so she's kind of like the person who's like just interested in the science behind it and doesn't even see like any sort of like humor or like arousal from it. Then the artist chick whose voice really stood out to me. Like at first she's had sort of like a what do you call it? I don't know how to describe it, but her voice sounded really unique at first, and she's really short. And it's funny when she gets excited because like her voice just she like gets really heavy with her breathing. And she'll draw with her mouth. She gets really horny, like she gets inspired, quote unquote, to like draw porn. And she constantly ships Tanochiki with Goriki, I think his name is. He's like this big guy, and it's kind of funny because the show plays it off as if he kind of likes it. He's like, oh, I just wanted to get to know you, and he's being all shy and whatnot. I think from what I remember, I think the reason why he starts acting that way is because he starts to kind of spark his interest a little bit. I mean, it's obviously a joke, but Tanochiki and Ayame or Ayane or whatever. I think it's Ayame, if I'm remembering correctly. She and him are in the student council with Goriki, and I think his name's Goriki. I might have to look up the fucking names. In fact, I'm going to do that. You don't know what I'm doing. You can't judge me for my personality. But anyway, they're in the student council with the girl that Tanochiki actually likes. She's the chick with the silver hair, who actually has a Western name, believe it or not. A more Western-ish name. Oh, this is based on a light novel. I hope they release it in English. I'll watch it. Yeah, his name is the main guy's name is Tanochiki Okuma. Yeah, Ayame Kajo. And the artistic girl, she's Otome Saltome. And the according to Wikipedia, the doctor's chick's name is Hyoka Fua. Anna. Anna's the name of the chick from oh yeah, I was right, Goriki. Sweet. Kenta Miyake. I recognize him. But yeah, Anna, she she's the student council president, and she's initially played off as being like kind of super pure and heavily against lewdness. But it's kind of funny because like she and Tanochiki kiss at one point, and she gets horny after that, and so she starts going like full on lust, and she's kind of confused. She thinks she's doing what she's in, what she thinks that her love interest in Tanochiki is or is it Tanukichi? Oh fuck, whatever. The protagonist. I'm just gonna keep saying Tanuchiki because that I'm pretty sure that's right too. But she thinks that her relationship with like her love for him is purely out of love, but as Ayame points out, it's lust. And of course, there's that famous scene where she bakes them cookies, but it turns out that the cookies that she made for him actually has her semen in it. They say love nectar, but you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure out what kind of nectar's in there. And it's funny too how they show like her ejaculating, like not like literally like she's touching her vigil, and she's going. I mean, she does moan a lot, but like they show like her. It kind of looks sort of gooey and sparkly. And it's kind of funny, actually. There is one masturbation joke that's made with her where it's like she really needs to get toilet paper and she's kind of like holding her crotch. Though it seemed more like a having to go to the bathroom joke, especially with the way she was acting, because I feel like, I mean, at the same time, you know, obviously with this show, like, you know, it's a show that wants your mind to be out of the gutter. So, you know, and the big ultimate like conflict, like at first it's more about like them with their duty to like with Ayame's goal to like rid the world of like this hatred for dirty jokes and try to make people more accepting of it. Though in the end, she keeps talking about, like, you know, part of the reason why it's lewd is because people don't like it. So the same way, it's just like, you know, in some way you're kind of, you know, going along with the idea that it's probably better to keep it, like, taboo. I think the idea is that it shouldn't be just, like, complete taboo, but, you know, it's okay to, like, not like it. But, and they do stuff. It starts off like introducing a couple of new characters and mainly showing them do stuff to like make to like it's they call it like a form of terrorism. It's more like sexual terrorism. I don't know if I want to use that word in this video out loud though, because I feel like that might be kind of a touchy subject. So I apologize for that. But the Ayame is doing like these little like they're kind of like pranks in a way. Like she'll post like lewd stuff all over the place that Saotome drew and stuff, like just stuff like that to make kids horny. Basically, she's trying to make kids horny, but then this middle schooler named Kosori, she gets interested, and it's funny because her hair, like her hair is like it's done kind of like straight, but like it kind of curves up a little bit. So from the back, it looks like the shape of like a mushroom penis, like an uncut penis. No, a cut penis. I don't know. I guess like when it's erect, the skin's it. You guys who've seen a penis before, which I'm sure some of you have because you probably have penises. It looks like the friggin' mushroom head of a penis, and it even like gets flat and straightens out a bit, which is kind of funny. It's almost like the whole thing with like how like, you know, how that mushroom gets pretty big too, and sometimes it's fun to squeeze, and like you feel like you're like squeezing liquid out of whatever. And she doesn't wear like there's at the end, even though she's not part of the school, she starts wearing the uniform, and she pretends to be a Tanochiki's sister, like little sister. But normally she wears like this short sleeve blue uniform, and like it's kind of funny because like when on the last episode where they show where it's like, and she's wearing the uniform. They go to like I think they go to. I think they go. I'm pretty sure it's like near the end, like end, because they go somewhere. It's not like the actual part where they go to like that resort thing. They go like near the end. So, and she's wearing the uniform again, which I found kind of funny. Like the idea of like changing out of a uniform into a uniform, but I thought that was kind of funny. They do a thing with her portraying with the ultimate bad guy, who's sort of like this college guy who I think his name is a White Rose. I think his name is actually White Rose. He's wearing like panties that's been like drenched in wine, and they eventually defeat him. But he's going a little too far with it, and part of the reason why Ayame wants to like stop him is because I think it's Blue Rose. I think not blue. That's fucking Tiger and Bunny. What am I thinking? And it's actually Tanukichi, not Tanuchiki. I am sorry. I can't remember. Oh yeah, her name's Blue Snow. I was close. Blue Snow. And yeah, Blue Snow and White Rose, I believe, is the. I don't remember the name of the actual college yet, but I remember he's a college guy. So, yeah. Ayami feels like that. White Rose's efforts will like mess up Blue Snow's efforts and make them look bad. So, they do like there's like a couple episodes dedicated to like their big battle, and of course they have like guns and whatnot, and they end up having tasers. And Kosori betrays the group, like actually betrays. I was kind of hoping they were gonna do this is kind of like a repeat from Himoto, Soul of Gold, and now here, because I believe this was the last one I actually finished, because like I said, I watched it on the Funimation's YouTube channel, so I was actually like a week late. It was only a 12 episode long series. I don't know if the light novel's still going. I might have to check. But she betrays it. I was kind of hoping they would do a thing where she is like doing a double agent thing, but no, she actually betrays because she feels like White Rose's efforts are like he'll actually be doing like a better job with things. But then like when she realizes that there's actual like violence being involved, she defects, and she gets like defeated and whatnot. And they defeat him and the bad guy, and then they do a thing with like this resort thing where they fight this guy. I think his name is Black Rose, and it turns out to be like a friend of Tanukichi's father, and they find like this mass treasure mound of like just ancient porn, or technically stuff that isn't really porn, because it was like mannequins and whatnot. I mean, I know like some people probably play with their mannequins, but and that's kind of where the series ends. It's the typical fucking 12 episode long where it's like it ends in a way that it could that section of the story could end, but it's more of like one of those anime that's like made just to sort of promote the source material, in this case the light novel. If they do make another season, I'll definitely watch it. Since I have the Wikipedia page open, it's ongoing, and they're 9 volumes out, and there's also a manga. So so if there's another season, I'll definitely watch it. I liked it, since it with the whole lewd jokes, and I liked the uniforms. They looked cute. I thought the white shirt and the red tie was a nice combination. There's even a bit of a fan service where Anna, she gets like this she gets this vibrator bee thing, and she thinks it's a necklace, so she wears it. And of course she gets to a point where she's wearing it under her uniform, like under her shirt and whatnot. And there's a scene where like they zoom in on her chest. She's vibrating really hard because like it's like vibrating really fast, and it ends up loosening her tie and popping off the first few buttons on her shirt, her blouse, or whatever. And that was pretty sexy, not gonna lie. You guys know how I am with my school uniforms, so with any anime with school uniforms, that's always something I have to mention. Like, oh, the uniforms were nice, which they were. I found it kind of strange though, because they were wearing chokers, which as the name implies, are pretty tight. Yet it looked like they were doing the top button on their uniforms, which I feel like isn't that kind of uncomfortable? Of course, I don't know. I was just thinking like that's kind of uncomfortable. Of course, it looked like they were you could kind of see the choker like above their collar. That may have been a design thing. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But at the same time, I'm just thinking that's probably uncomfortable. Like the bracelets, I can understand. That's not that big a deal. But I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much my review on the anime. I liked it. I'm only gonna say the subtitle thing just to kind of so people can keep that in mind. I mean, I personally didn't mind it. It did seem a little more stylized, but it may just be because of the way the story is and the way the show is. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So yeah, this is Flamesar aka Tasuke signing out. See you later.